Всем привет! С вами Аня
и Мирослава.
Вы на канале English Online. Мы продолжаем работать по учебнику английского языка для школы 6 класса автора Афанасьева и Михеева. Мы на теме Климат. И сегодня мы с вами прочитаем текст и ответим к нему на вопросы. Страница 24-25. So, let's start. We are going to read in turns. First, I will start.
Okay.
Climate. Climate is the weather a certain place has over a long period of time. Climate has a very important influence on plants, animals, and humans, and is different in different parts of the world.
Russia is the largest country on the world. It lies on a huge territory, from the coast of the Pacific Ocean to the center of Europe, and its climate in the north, south, east, and west is different. In the west, for example, the climate is usually mild and wet. At the same time, the coldest place on the planet is in the north of Siberia. While in the south of Russia there is a lot of sunshine and the heat in summer can be really terrible. Summer and winter temperature are very different in Moscow, Omsk, or Krasnoyarsk, in Volgograd or Rostov. In the Arctic, the winter temperatures are very low. The taiga zone has long, hard winters and short summers. Between the Black and Caspian Seas, it is very hot in summer.
But recently, the climate has changed a lot in our country, especially in its European part. Some scientists think the world is becoming hotter. If you compare Moscow's winter and summer temperatures in the beginning of the century and at its end, you will see that the climate has really changed. Winters have become warmer. Sometimes there is little snow in January, and there were winters when it rained, not snowed, on the New Year's Eve.
Many people say that it is because of the greenhouse effect. Have you ever heard about it? It works like this. Sunlight gives us heat. Some of the heat warms the atmosphere, and some of the heat goes back into space. Nowadays, the air
surrounding
the Earth has become much warmer because the heat can't go back into space. That's why winter and summer temperature in many places have become higher.
Yeah. During the last 100 years, people have produced a lot of carbon dioxide. This gas in the atmosphere works like glass in a greenhouse. It lets heat get in, but it doesn't let much heat get out. So the atmosphere becomes warmer.
Where does the carbon dioxide come from? People and animals breathe in oxygen and breathe out carbon dioxide. We produce carbon dioxide when we burn things. Trees take this gas from the air and produce oxygen. But in the last few years, people have cut down and burned big areas of rainforest. This means there are fewer trees and, of course, more carbon dioxide.
So the climate in different parts of the world changes a little from year to year. These changes can be dangerous for our fragile planet, which needs protection. Earth is millions of years old, much older than the humans. We know many of its secrets, yet there is still much to learn. So, ответьте на вопрос из упражнения 17. So, what is climate? Все ответы можно найти в тексте.
Climate is the weather a certain place has over a long period of time.
Climate is the weather that a certain place has over a long period of time. Number 2. Is the climate always the same in this or that part of the world? Does it change? So climate is different in different parts of the world. По первому параграфу. Так, меняется ли он? Нам нужно найти. Of course it changes. Yeah? So number 3. What can you say about the climate in Russia? Найдем. Это во втором параграфе.
The climate in Russia is very different.
Yes, because Russia is the largest country in the world.
At the same time, the coldest place on the planet is the north of Siberia, and in Moscow, usually mild and wet.
The climate is usually mild and wet, yes. But if you look at Russia, so all the climate in the north, south, east and west is really very different. Четвертый. What do you know about the greenhouse effect? Что ты знаешь про эффект парниковый?
The greenhouse effect works like this. Sunlight gives us heat. Some of the heat warms the atmosphere, and some of the heat goes back into space.
Yeah, but now
the air surrounding the Earth has become much warmer because the heat can't back into space.
Can't go back into space. Вот это и есть парниковый эффект. Жара не может уйти обратно в космос. So number 5. Why doesn't all the heat go back into space? Why does the atmosphere become warmer? В общем, мы уже ответили на этот вопрос. Да, предыдущем. So number 6. How can the greenhouse effect influence the climate on the planet in the future?
That's why winter and summer's temperature in many places will become higher.
Yes, so the temperatures in the winter and summer will become higher, of course. Next, do you think our planet needs protection? What is protection? Защита. Нужна ли нам защита? Yes, of course. Because our planet is fragile.
Yes.
Yeah. Упражнение 18. Продолжим фразы, используя текст. Number 1.
Climate is the weather a certain place has over a long period of time.
Yes, okay. Number 2.
Climate has a very important influence on people and humans and animals in different parts of the world.
Yeah, and plants as well. Next.
At the same time, the coldest place on the planet is the north of Siberia.
Yes, that's right. Next.
Some of the heat warms the atmosphere, and some of the heat goes back to the space.
Into the space, yeah.
People and animals breathe in oxygen and...
Yes, so we breathe in oxygen.
And breathe out carbon dioxide.
Carbon dioxide, that's right.
And the last one, trees take carbon dioxide from the air and...
Yes. And...
gas.
And gas.
Yes.
Trees take carbon dioxide from the air and produce oxygen. Yes. Okay. С вами была Аня
и Мирослава.
До новых встреч. Подписывайтесь на наш канал. Пока.
Всем пока.